So Arsenal 3, Monaco nil. First half, Kenny, it could have been 5 nil. We couldn't finish any of our chances apart from Saka. Yet again, Bukayo Saka.
Yeah.
Second half, inside 5 minutes, free header from Monaco should have been 1-1.
Yeah.
They then had a Minamino chance that
Yeah.
he should have scored. And they had Mbolo whistle one wide. He didn't whip it. He caught it with his laces.
Yeah.
Raya tonight, I thought, was awful with his distribution again.
Yeah.
Midfield looked a little bit all over the gaff. Lewis Skelly, I thought, was sick. I thought he was class and should have stayed on.
Yeah.
Overall, though, Kenny, that was a disaster class in finishing. And it just showed again how heavily reliant we are on Bukayo Saka, who is our most clinical forward at the football club.
Well,
What did you make of it, mate?
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth because if you look at Bukayo Saka, he actually didn't play well today. In terms of game involvement, he was actually pretty quiet. I thought that he was well marshaled, especially in that first half. If anyone was more involved in the game, it was actually Martinelli. But as usual, Martinelli, what he did wasn't particularly quality. He had one good cross. Jesus was awful. Jesus, 2 chances that you kind of when you this is the thing with Arsenal, and this is why the striker debate is so prevalent at the football club, and it's always going to rear its ugly head. Obviously, it's going to be ugly head to Mikel, but it's always going to rear its ugly head because when you see finishing like that, you think, oh, if only. For instance, Jesus twice through and goal, you just knew that he was going to miss. Martinelli through and goal, you knew you missed. But Odegaard, I think Odegaard did everything was right. But as soon as
I knew he'd miss.
We knew he'd miss as well because he got in front of the player. He got himself he basically said, if you touch me, I'm going to go down. You're off the field. So basically, he was actually waiting for a foul. But when he realised that the defender wasn't getting there, that's where the difficult part started. He's done the hard part, win the ball, get across his defender. But when he goes through on goal, you just think, no, you know what? Normally he puts them away, but today I just thought, it was never going to happen. And it was the same kind of in the second half. Don't get me wrong, Monaco had a lot of the ball, but it didn't have the quality that probably a PSG, or probably a quality of some of the teams that we played in the Champions League. Monaco are what they are. They're third in the French league, and whatever you want to say about the French league, that's the quality of the French league. But when you look at our players, let's be honest, our best players were defenders. Saliba was brilliant today. He
was awesome.
He read the game, like I said, like a full book. I thought Lewis Skelly was very adventurous. There was one loose pass, but he was involved in the goal. He was the one who was aggressive, won the ball, passed the ball forward. Jesus did one bit of quality, great slide cross. Saka puts the ball in the net, and this is a Saka that didn't play well, but it took in the 78th minute for their goalkeeper to make an error. Only he knows why he's holding the ball too long for us to win the ball, and then we scored. But apart from that, Saka, got a third. It was a cross shot, but Havertz, managed to deflect it into the back of the net. But apart from that, you say, right, it's 3-0. If you go on BT Sport, you go on any of the other stations, they're going to say that we were fantastic today. But we weren't. What we did really well is that we did open them up. We created some clear-cut chances, but our finish was wasteful. Our passing in the midfield wasn't great. Marino was, came into it in the second half. Getting Rice struggled. He looks unfit.
Yeah. He looked. Yeah, sorry to cut him there.
Yeah.
He had a chance. So I'm going to say 2 things. I'll let you go. Right. There was a chance where he picked the ball up in our own half, just around the centre circle, but to the left of that, drove over halfway. Jesus had run off the right back and the right centre back, and he was in. And he held the ball and held the ball and held the ball. Yeah. And this is why when I moan about Rice and Odegaard, holding the ball too much, them strikers, that's Gabby Jesus has scored 1 goal in 32 games, by the way, and that was Preston. Shocking. But this is why, because we have players that hold the ball too long. The second instance, after 10 minutes, because that was a bit later, after 10 minutes, they zoomed in on Declan Rice. He looked finished, mate, after 10 minutes.
Well, you think about Declan Rice. I was talking to a good friend of mine who sits next to me, Mohammed, and he says that the Declan Rice from last season, when he first came to the football club, when he was firing on all cylinders, is night and day. This Declan Rice, if you look at the Euros, where he played every game, I don't think he even got a substitute in the game. I'm not making excuses, but it's just factual. Physically, he hasn't acted. Then he's got to come back from pre-season. He's had to play every game. Obviously, it's taken its toll. He's had a broken toe where he's missed a few games. His performances have been, at best, inconsistent. In fact, the only thing he's done of any immense quality is his set pieces. But even today, they were found wanting. But one thing about Declan Rice, a lot of people criticise me. They say I'm delusional because of my views of Declan Rice. And what I'll say about Declan Rice, he's basically can do all the other trades. For instance, he can play in the pivot, he can do the number 6 occasionally, and he can play number 8. But he's not brilliant at any of them. He's very much a £105 million versatile player.
He's a tryhard.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
He's a 7 out of 10 at a lot of things, but he never excels at any of them.
And there's nothing wrong with that because he's gained nearly 50 caps for his country.
He's a good player.
For his country. He was one of West Ham's mainstays when they won the Conference League, and he's never let us down. But in terms of what you pay for £105 million, you paid for Declan Rice to cover a specific position. Obviously, as number 6 and number 8. At the moment, he doesn't look great in either of them because of simple reason. I put it down at fatigue, but he's still got a lot to learn about his game. Martin Odegaard looked like a player who's come back from injury. He tried, Martin Odegaard isn't going to have a great game when he's coming deep for the ball. When he comes deep for the ball, then he's not at it. I thought in terms of his creativity, he put a few good balls through, but he isn't the flowing Odegaard. He wasn't the Martin Odegaard that that we saw at West Ham, where he was absolutely sublime. We didn't see that Martin Odegaard today. Bukayo Saka again, I said he was quiet. Martinelli, it's going to be a situation where every time we win, when I say wins paper over the cracks, when I'm talking about the cracks, Martinelli's a massive crack.
He was dog shit, Kenny. He should have been sent off.
Yeah, but it's like going to Australia, the first day of a test match at the Gabba, and you see cracks in the pitch. Well, that's Martinelli. He's a massive crack in our team to the extent that he's playing him. Soccer is only playing because Trossard is hit and miss.
Equally as crap.
and Sterling, I admit, he's finished at a big level. So basically, we're in a situation where Martinelli has to play, but Martinelli doesn't do Martinelli things. There was one instance when Marino got the ball, he passed the ball at pace, and Martinelli, had enough time and he looked like he got away from his marker, but no, he timed his run and he got in the right place, But once again, he didn't drive into the box. He tried to put a cross in. He's not doing the Martinelli things, off-the-cuff things that we used to enjoy, where he'll go into the box, where basically, if a defender so much as even breathes at him, it's a penalty. He's not that player anymore. The Martinelli that everyone, loves and says, accuses me of saying Martinelli slander. That Martinelli disappeared 2 years ago. And let's face it, he's not coming back.
What do you put that down to, though, Kenny? Do you put that down? Because we can't just keep making excuses about, because he's had enough chances. He plays a lot. He should have been sent off, Kenny. Yeah.
Because he should have been taken off in the setting off.
Yeah, Matty sat there on the watch long, and Ola said, "Oh, he's got to come off at half time." Matty said, "He ain't coming off at half time. He'll be back out in the second half."
Yeah, but a lot of that is because Monaco didn't really offer anything really. They are what they are.
Not in the first half, but the second half, they could have had 3 goals, Kenny.
Yeah, could have 3 goals, but what it is that you have to be a bit more clinical and a bit more have a bit more je ne sais quoi to beat our press, because one thing we do really well, even when we're not playing well, we're still difficult to break down, and it'll take immense quality or us being asleep at the wheel for goals to go in. And it looks like today our shape was really good. But when you talk about Martinelli, I like it to Brazil, because when you look at Brazil, when I was growing up, Brazil had players like Eder, Socrates, Zico, they had Serginho, they had players like Junior, they all world-class players. And in the preceding players you had Mario, Bebeto, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, great players, Kaká. Well, Brazil don't have those players. When you look at Brazil and they've got players like Martinelli, Jesus, Joe Linton, Guimaraes,
Mateus Cunha.
Vicuña, all those kind of players, all that kind of players. You know, Brazil are struggling. You know, Brazil is struggling. And Martinelli epitomises the malaise in British football. And unfortunately, we're stuck with him because he's got a high salary. You know, it's going to be difficult to shift from the football club. And he's very happy because we're paying him 180 grand to produce first-class rubbish week in, week out. And it's got to be a discussion where in the summer we have to sell him in order to upgrade, because he's part of the reason why I don't think we're going to win the league. And he's part of the reason why I don't think we're going to prosper in the Champions League. And it's not just him. Basically, in order to sort of like rationalise what I'm saying, I'm not digging him out. Our left-hand side is still a problem. Don't get me wrong. We won well. We got the win. But when we're too right-sided heavy, you know there's areas we need to improve on, and Martinelli's one of them. And it's a shame because we've won the game. We've got one foot into the last 16. But once again, whenever we win a game, you always look around and think, right, what is the good, bad, and the ugly? And every time you look at the bad and ugly, it's Martinelli.
Facts. And on that bombshell, get home safely, mate. Go and get your kebab. Get on the metro. Or the tube as it is in England, and get home safely, mate. And we'll do this all over again on Saturday, mate.
Definitely. You know what? One thing I'll say, the weather is excruciatingly cold. It's absolutely freezing.
I've got my robe on, mate. It's 10 degrees here.
10 degrees. Well, I'll tell you one thing, mate. It's probably minus that in England at the moment, North London.
Get home safely, mate. Listen, always appreciate your time, mate. Take care, bro. Love you, mate.